Why?
Ew, why?
Hello. Merry Christmas.
Oh yeah, don't judge us. We're a little behind.
Happy January the
March.
second time.
Yes.
Welcome to
It's
Literarily
still
Wasted,
January. We're
everybody.
okay.
And yay, here we are. Here to talk about the second half of the Best American Science Fiction and Fantasy 2017.
Yes.
We have a whopping 11-ish stories to go over today.
I'm ready. I numbered them and I took notes.
So
I
we
also
should
took
probably
notes.
start with the last story first, right?
We should talk about. We should.
I'm just kidding. Jeff said he's trying to finish the last story.
Talia,
before
you
we
should
get
say
there.
who's here.
Okay, I can do that. I can.
Lucas did the song last time and it was weird.
Was it weird or was it beautiful? Because he has like this singing voice of an angel. That
It was.
jerk.
It was too good.
Oh, good. Well, here I am. I'm
Thank
back
you.
with my mediocrity. Let's
Yes.
go. Hi, Giggles and Tammy and Jennifer, Tim, Mary and Kelly and Cindy. Hi,
Ooh.
Leanne and Stacy and Brandy and Rachel and Kelly and Victoria too. Hi,
Yeah.
Judy and Kent and Katie and Spare and Lucas and Brandy and Carrie.
Lucas.
Hi, Kent and Jeff and Henry and Jan and Lisa, Willow, Leanne, Kira, Lisa, Leanne, Sean, Jan, Jeff, Sean, Nicole, Kent, Lucas again.
Yay.
Yay! All is right.
And
now,
thank
I
you,
guess.
Jan. My hair is dirty.
And yeah, so if you didn't see our announcement, we have taken it upon ourselves. We were like, you know what? Maybe the group isn't growing fast enough.
We're gonna help it out.
Maybe we should make our own group members. So yes, the Lit Fam is expanding.
I like to think of it as Christy finally realized she's not actually going to be able to get to all of the books on her TBR list all on her own, and was like, recruitment.
Yeah. So a new little Jean-Luc to
Nope.
help. His name's gonna be Jean-Luc.
Nope.
And to become another member of the Lit Fam. We're very excited. So yay for baby Jean-Luc Venkman.
Name is to be decided.
Jean-Luc Gozer.
It's not any of those.
I've still got to Google whatever the masculine form of Talia is, but we can talk about it later.
Talio.
Talio. For those who've noticed my name tag over here, just Talia, and Lucas is in the comments.
Lucas is here.
Yes.
Laughing.
Well, he wasn't going to be. He is supposed to be literally in an airplane flying through the air right now.
Are you Wi-Fi in the air?
Back to Birmingham. No, his flight got canceled. And so he's still in Philadelphia, he will be back tomorrow. But that means, I guess, he can say hi.
Yeah. Hi, Lucas.
But he can't talk about the book because I have it. So
have a good time in Philly. Do the Rocky thing. That's there, right? The running in the steps.
He did, yes. Because they have his suitcase, but not his seat.
No.
So, you know.
Well.
He'll be all right. Okay.
Safe travels. Here we go.
We got a lot to get through. We should probably start.
I'm ready. Abbreviated feelings.
First story, The Future is Blue by Catherine M. Valent something.
V.
This is the one with Garbage Town.
Yeah.
Do I need to go further? It's just the Garbage Town story.
Garbage Town and Candle Hole.
And Tetley and Goodnight Moon and Life and Time.
All right. So I'm going to preface these by saying I wrote like literally only one or two sentences for each one. And they're not even sentences. I wrote maybe 3 words at a time, and it became the length of 2 sentences. But I wrote these as I was reading them. So I'm going to try and remember what happened. But this first one, actually, all I did was say at the end, I said, would read an entire novel set in this world. That one actually left me wanting more. Like, I would read that.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting and very sad and scary because it might be our future. So
I wrote down sad but great. I really enjoyed that one. I thought it was so creative and so interesting and like And there were just so many different levels of sad. Like that's a possible future, right? And then also just like how people are, and how they continue to be totally human, even in this very different setting.
Yeah, this one was wild, and I appreciated the kind of like grungy water world of it all, and like the bizarre setting and the bizarre perspective from which it's told. We have like it's kind of time shifting, right? It's mostly told in like flashback from Tetley's point of view as she like.
It took me a couple of chunks to figure that out, but yes.
And yeah, it was hard for me to kind of keep up, and I think I talked to Christy a little bit about that, like where I was in time. But you know, like what is science fiction if it isn't some sort of like horrific warning about the future?
Yeah.
So
well, and this story was actually submitted in a collection or an anthology that was about like global warming. So like all of the books in the anthology that it was originally published in are about that.
Interesting.
I feel like it set the tone for the second half of the book for me, which was predominantly humans suck.
We got some of that in the first half of the book too.
We did.
Okay, well.
But there did seem to be a lot more kind of like Twilight Zone-y, like Black Mirror type stories in this half that were basically like this could be your future.
Do Tim hears.
I don't agree with her solution. She kind of deserves the hate she's getting. There had to be a better way.
Her solution was so dramatic, and I don't understand how it didn't cause more harm than good. Like I don't understand how she was able to stop them from expending all the energy without expending all the energy. Like I guess I didn't understand the actual solution.
Yeah, she was quite destructive.
Yeah, because this was the impression I got too, that she wasted all the fuel anyways.
Yeah. So everybody hates her because they were all sold this like pipe dream from the circus or whatever.
Yeah, they think she took their chance away of like a better life, which she probably didn't, but she didn't help them. She really hurt the whole garbage town.
She found out that everything was a lie whilst having sex.
For the first time. Yeah.
Which is really not a good time to find out things are...
Jeff said I will say, yeah, no, you're going to read that. I don't feel like she deserves the treatment that she's getting. She obviously made a mistake and that it sucks. But also, as is noticeable with a lot of these stories, I feel like there's a lot of like, it's not black and white. It's not good and bad. It's crap and crap. And this is how it turned out. But I don't, still the lot that she's been dealt because of it is still indicative of humanity.
Yeah, I want to give humanity the benefit of the doubt and say, like, even if they did perceive her to really kind of F things up, let it go. Like be disappointed, but like handle it better. But as we've seen, even now, if somebody does something, the trolls come out on Twitter or whatever, people get like death threats and whatever. It's basically that, except they don't have Twitter. They just have her door. So yeah. This was a rough one, but she, give her all the credit. Her spirits were...
She was like weirdly optimistic, even though she's obviously been enduring a bunch of crap for a long time. But we should probably move on.
The next one, we should have done like star. Somebody did star ratings at 3.5 out of 5. That one, but that was an interesting story. The next one.
This is Not a Wardrobe Door by A. Merck Rustad. This is the doors into the magical world have been locked by the forgotten book because it thinks people just use them and then forget them. Zara convinces the book that they do matter and aren't forgotten, and the book unlocks the door. For Zara and Misu, it's been days, weeks, but for Elle, it's been a decade. So characters are Ellie and Elle/Elle.
The same person.
And then Lashana are on the other side of the door, and then Elle's mom. Yeah,
and they all have some lost land they visited and could not get back to, and they have a friend that's still over there. They have this like, especially in the case of the mom, she has been longing to get back for a long time.
Yeah.
And I guess Elle has too over the years, as we see in her writing of the letters.
This was my second shortest feelings that I wrote about it. And I just said, kind of sad, then kind of cute, fine. Just like, are you mad? Because like a lot of y'all are like saying in the comments, you're like, I loved it. And I was like,
yeah, a lot of people love this one.
I really like this one. I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars because I started rating them and then I stopped like 3 stories in. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I don't know. I guess I'm a sucker for portal stories.
You love those portals.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same boat as Talia on this one, where I was just kind of like, yeah, okay. I mean, somebody said it's nice to have a happy ending. I was cool with the happy ending. It was happy ending. It was optimistic. I was trying to kind of, again, like I said last time, every time I read these, I try to find like whatever the core like nugget of thing that I'm supposed to take away from this is. It was kind of, something about like never losing your imagination. Don't give up on, like fiction is important. Having those like dreams and fantasies. There's where you find friends and all that stuff was nice. But it just kind of meh in the end for me.
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting device to show the time jumping in one.
I really did like that. I like that it was like days or weeks for Zara and Misu, and then for Elle, it was like over a decade, and that was just super interesting to me.
So I feel like maybe what bugged me with this one is we've read a wide variety of length stories now, which is really fun. And for this one, it's like she was getting into it and I was kind of getting into it. And then she was like, oh no, I'm only allowed to write 1 more page. Okay, yeah. It's done.
Yeah, now everybody's there and they're all happy and yay.
I was like, oh, okay.
Which was, yeah. I mean, there was some time spent in like the fantasy world where like Zara is on this
epic mission
quest that felt less epic because it was so truncated, because it was so like short. And I didn't quite understand, once I was in the end, I was kind of able to put the pieces together, but I wasn't able to sort of feel it as we were going, which took away from it for me.
Well, speaking of moving on too soon.
Chrissy is.
The description that she was made of, like all the like fantasy elements of what she was comprised of, though, I thought that was lovely and beautiful. But honestly, also it was like a whole page of the story. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's that one.
Okay. Story 3.
We are just blazing through these.
We like almost went over last time, and we have more to do this time. So
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Trying to keep it on track. So the third one is On the Fringes of the Fractal by Greg Van Eekhout, and I probably butchered his name. This is the one where everybody is ruled by their stats. So your characters are Denny and Sherman and Miss Spotty Pants, the talking Dalmatian.
Talking dog. And Denny and Sherman lost his stat, and Denny is
Sherman's family loses all of their stats.
And Denny is embarking on a quest to save Sherman from losing his stat. So like apparently if you lose all your stat, you're basically nobody cares about you. They can do anything they want to you and no consequences.
Outside of the law in that.
So that's kind of creepy. And it's not the first time I've seen a story that deals with this kind of stuff, like status, sort of like social status. And did we even see, wasn't an episode of the Orville or something like that, where they go to this planet and people have like upvote and downvotes like on them, and
and it affects like their whole lives,
their whole standing, their whole like rating and their standing. But in this case, the higher the stat, the better presents you get dropped on your house.
Well, it's just like your daily stuff. I'm assuming it's food. It's definitely clothes. Like if you don't have high stats, you have to wear the same clothes, or you have to wear something similar or not as great.
Yeah. Jeff says he's seen this done too many times, so it was hard to get into. Lisa says just okay. I actually really like this one. I like the idea of it.
I did too. I wrote, in order of how I read it, I wrote congealed slew yarf. BuzzFeed clickbait education.
I love the clickbait
hilarious
titles.
Intro of stat, instantly sobering because too real. All hail the mighty algorithm.
Yeah,
Mrs. Godfrey is evil. A world where you can steal someone else's dog is evil. And then later I wrote, it's getting scary now. And then at the end I was like, yeah, that was scary.
Now, I don't know if anybody else read it, but this was actually inspired by a Rush song. It's like Suburbia, maybe?
Be a stain.
We'll see.
Let's be stains.
It was really interesting. I went and listened to the song, and I guess I can see it. But
Should have made that the countdown song.
oh gosh, we should have. That's such a good idea.
We would have gotten copyrighted flagged.
Yeah, stories inspired by the music of Rush, but it says in the back it's like Suburbia or something. It doesn't.
But yeah, all the little stucco cookie cutter
Subdivisions,
communities. Woo.
That get violently built.
Yeah, no, it was really creepy.
Yeah,
it was really creepy for me.
It did have a bit of an unnerving, unsettling vibe, but that again is kind of the future. I feel like,
Yes.
like especially in the age of social media and stats. We're on social media right now. You can like this post if you want.
Yeah.
You should, by the way. I know. I see you.
Well, and then living in like that house and it being so big that they were never found, like there was, I don't know, the whole end honestly was like very interesting but very creepy to me.
Yeah. The tone definitely kind of shifted a little bit. There was an episode of Black Mirror that dealt with stat as well.
Yeah, someone was mentioning
that. But yeah. See?
Yay!
We're gonna get the nice soap in the Dropbox tomorrow. But yeah, okay. I like this, and I thought I was, I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a stain. You know why? Because stains aren't part of the pattern. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's all be stains.
Okay, next. The Story of Cal Yu by Peter S. Beagle. This is the one with the traveling judge and the is it Qilin or Keelan? The Chinese unicorn creature. Did you get the pictures that I sent you and put them on here?
I did not put them on here.
Adam.
I can show them. I've had a long day.
I was like, hey, it would be cool if you had these pictures to just like pop up. And I sent him the pictures to pop up and he did not do it.
Is it of a Chinese unicorn?
It is.
Oh,
which doesn't look anything like the American unicorn, which is like really interesting. And no horses are involved.
It looks more like a lion.
Yeah.
It's like the little guardian dragon thingies.
Yeah. I liked this one. I thought this one was really interesting. Well, kind of in tune with what Katie said. I said this had the feel of kind of like your typical like old folk tale. I said, okay, I guess. Reads kind of like your typical folk tale, except I did not get the lesson.
I didn't either.
If it was trying to impart a lesson unto me, I did not receive it. I did not learn from it. So it was just okay.
Yeah, you said that about several of them, actually.
I said about this one, I think.
But what's so interesting is he defends the woman. She escapes and is never seen again. The unicorn never appears to him again. He retires shortly after and dies from sadness.
Yeah, bummer.
Like, it ended so...
Ow! Quit biting me.
Ooh, goodness. Sorry. It ended so darkly, kind of.
Yeah, well, it was kind of a depressing ending for him. He was kind of broken by this woman, like both, like in professionally and personally.
Yeah,
it's like, she was like his bad luck thing or something, where she was basically just a wrench in his whole thing.
Yeah, she sucked.
She did, and but I agree. I think it was really well written. I think Sean said that. I thought it was really well written. Some of these, I was telling Christy, some of these stories were written in such a bizarre way that like my brain was like, I can't comprehend this sometimes. But this one was nice and straightforward. And but yeah, like Talia said, I wasn't quite sure what I was supposed to get from it. It just kind of seemed like just a sad story. Here's
Like
a
it had
day
the
in the-
vibe of like the folk tale that's good enough to like go through time, but like, usually they like have some sort of wisdom to impart, and I didn't pick
Here
up on
you
that.
go.
There it
Jeff's
is.
got us.
Don't do this. This is bad advice. Don't give up your integrity for desire. You will pay the price.
I mean, I feel like you're giving it a little more credit than it deserved, but that is a good message. Like,
I love it
Yeah,
written
valid.
out like that, though. I think that's probably what the intention.
He broke his professionalism and paid the price. I do that all the time.
I was about to say, professionalism, just professionalism.
So a little
That's
too
what I
late for
say.
me to read this story and get anything out of it. Have you seen what we do?
Right now or in general?
for job.
For a job.
For job.
Anyways,
So that was that one.
we've gotten into a dark place. Let's make it darker.
Great. Smear.
Smear by Brian Evanson. This is the one where Axel is on like a long range mission in space, like all by himself. But the solar system storing his body fails, and he wakes up and starts interacting with the voice that he hears, and he sees a smear that like the vessel can't see.
I keep wanting to say schmear,
Yeah.
which makes it less scary, I guess.
So then he ends up crawling out of his chair and dying.
Yeah.
And then these two other people,
The salvage team, I guess, picks up his vessel, and one of them becomes entranced with the smear and starts to hear the voice. Like
becomes
at the very
possessed
end.
by the thing. This one was creepy.
It was so creepy.
Yeah, I wrote that.
This one was uncomfy, says Kristen.
Yes. I wrote interesting. Oh, creepy. Reminds me of Contact a little. Did anyone see that movie?
Jodie Foster.
Yeah, I wrote getting creepier. And then I wrote, no, thank you. No, yuck. Got tricked into reading a scary story.
Yep, you did.
I think that's about like when the
Right.
the no teeth moment happened.
There were several.
Yeah, some of these came out from
unsettling
of
stories.
horror things, but I thought it was. I don't know. I really want more of this world. I want more of this story. Like I could read a whole book about this.
Yeah, this feels like some prologue.
How does it spread, and what is it, and how many people does it do at a time, and like.
I
What
bet it would
is
be really interesting, but I wouldn't read it because I'm too scared. But I
This-
bet it would be
gave me the
interesting,
ick.
though. Yeah.
I think the guy who showed up at the end got the ick too.
He did.
Smear, weirdness on a spacecraft.
Correct.
Yeah, but the vibe of this one was just so
It was
unsettling.
Like
such
a
great
parasitic
word.
alien that like stole his essence in his face or something.
There is a bulkhead. It is just a bulkhead.
I
He's like,
don't like it.
I'm trying to think of how to tell this computer that I see something. That was frustrating.
Yeah. Well, and also like watching his body start withering away was also
Well, because remember, he asked the computer, and it was like, technically, anytime someone uses the word technically, shit's coming. But it said, technically, you are getting fed enough to survive. And I was like, no,
Mhm.
that's no. Yeah, here's your tablespoon of
Yeah,
butter a day.
the computer wanted to play semantics with him. He's like, well, yes, you're getting nutrients.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
And this one was a very short one too. This was like short and creepy and done.
I really enjoyed this.
Proof, yes. No, I feel like adequate proof that you can create a captivating story with minimal
Yep.
pages.
Yep.
Yeah. Do a lot with a little.
Yep. Okay. Next.
Next was The City We Became.
The City Born Great by N.K. Jemisin. This is exactly the same as like the prologue, I guess, of The City We Became, except for a third of the page. It's like this much is new.
I didn't read it.
So it's just 50 years later. It didn't really add much, actually. I think, we probably went the better path by reading the actual book.
I read that paragraph thing at the end, but this was my shortest feeling synopsis. I wrote, did not read again.
Yep. My synopsis was, we already read this.
I read that third of the page. Oh, and actually, I flipped through the book to make sure that it was exactly the same, and it was.
But now we can talk about what is possibly my favorite one.
Yes. Welcome. Oh, also the one with the longest name. Welcome to the medical clinic at the Interplanetary Relay Station. Hours since the last patient death, 0, by Caroline M. Yochum.
This one was great.
This was the Choose Your Own Adventure.
Well, was it?
True. That's a good point. This one was structured as if it might be a Choose Your Own Adventure.
There's only one moment where I actually treated it like a Choose Your Own Adventure. Otherwise, I just kept going.
Mm-hmm.
And God, I loved it. I loved when I got to Q, and it was like, why are you reading this one? There is no go to Q.
No path goes to Q.
Yeah, no path goes to Q. You don't know how to follow instructions. Go to Z and die.
Yeah. Well, then why are you in my
What was
lap?
that?
This one made me laugh out loud. I enjoyed it immensely. I wrote down delightful, so much fun.
Yeah, Sean said this is hilarious. Brandy wants more of it. This one was great. Loved Welcome to the Medical Clinic. I think we got rave reviews.
And I also love how, I mean, it's a short story, and it was really short, and I appreciated that too. And it was so effective.
Yeah.
I wrote, ha ha ha, doo doo. Yes, I already knew it was an on-the-nose metaphor for our healthcare system, but I appreciate you point blank pointing it out. Funny, but also maybe depressing because, oh yeah, it's so true, y'all.
Yeah. That's what it's like going to the doctor's office.
Yeah.
So all doctors should read this one.
Put Kent's up.
Is that where we're all like,
yeah, we're all basically going to Z. This one was, God, I would read this again just because it was so much fun.
It was really fun.
And the humor was spot on. Like it made me laugh. And I don't laugh. Except when Matt Scalisi talks about Mr. Belvedere.
True.
It did actually make me laugh. Like the roundabout way of like describing the nurse that was not a human behind the desk, and you get a little bit of information like in each sentence about the nurse, and then it adds it all up together at the end just to say that it was the doo-doo from Uranus. And I was like, ha! Oh, I'm not mature. Okay.
Yeah, every time it said the planet's name, it was like, hey, get you, it's not Uranus. Every single time. Doo-doo.
Yeah, it made me giggle. It was I was really glad that they that this one was chosen and thrown in there, because there were so many other stories that were like
Heavy.
it felt nice to have something not just like silly, but actually that genuinely had something real to say, even though it was silly, and was structured totally differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one was just, I mean, it's not deep.
No.
You don't even know the main character's name, do you?
Hi,
it's you, it's me.
It was
right?
a palate cleanser. That's a good way of describing it.
But yeah, this was great. I did go to Y, and then it's like, congratulations, you win, but you don't win.
Go to Z and die.
Go to Z and die.
Yep.
So good. So good.
Okay, next up, little less light. Successor, Usurper, Replacement by Alice Sola Kim. This is the one with the writing group that are meeting, and a new girl comes, and there's a monster outside, and things get weird.
I did not like this one.
Why?
Like you didn't like it, or you didn't enjoy it? Because two different things.
I didn't enjoy it. This one was not my favorite. I don't know. Here's what I wrote. What was the story? A group of friends together at a writing critique party are also hiding from the beast, but a girl shows up wet and gives them alcohol, and they play a weird storytelling drinking game. Then it turns out the girl is the beast, or one of them. She eats them, but doesn't. One of them becomes famous while the other three almost do but never do.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Pretty much.
I will say I had a couple weird moments reading it
Don't
because
do this to me.
there were a couple of things that felt like a little personal. Like I guess just okay, Kat. Just like as someone with an Asian mom and growing up, there were like a couple of very particular descriptive sentences that she threw in there that I was like, she's talking right to me. And so that was like the kind of the beginning of my thought train. As I wrote, a few little pieces read like my own train of thought, which is amusing. And then I said, oh no I bang girl is going to be the beast. Oh, farts. I think she is. No one told me there's multiple creepy stories in this book. Honestly, interesting sounding drinking game if that's your thing. Haha, us humans. And then at the end, I just, what just happened? I don't think I like that. So yeah, this one was a real weird roller coaster. It definitely wasn't my favorite. But yeah, I don't know. This one was extra weird to me.
Yeah, this one was strange.
I said this one was oddly written. It felt chaotic and confusing, but got really interesting by the time the story started, and it was kind of sad at the end.
It was kind of sad. And like, you know, if you have a famous friend, then I guess it's not going to be you.
So it's definitely not us. That's
not
literally
us. Nope.
all I've been thinking about the past couple of days.
Yeah, no, Daniel Scheinert's the guy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
To be fair, though, at least he's like not.
And he's
like,
great.
He's actually probably the only genuinely nice person that I went to high school with that was nice all the time.
Yeah, he's great. And we want him to win. We want him to win the Academy Awards.
We do. I want him to win everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but congratulations, you made it. And we will strive to make it and never do, because I guess that's how that works.
Anyways. Next.
According to this book.
Next. Casper D. Luckenbill. What Are You Going to Do by Nick Wolven.
I really like this one, but I hated it.
Media terrorism. This one, the whole time I was like, why are you putting this in writing? They're going to get ideas. This one was terrifying.
This one was terrifying, but I really liked it. Like, I really liked this because it was so terrifying. I think it was effective.
Oh, it was very effective.
And I mean, I was impressed at how numb they all became to these horrific images. But like the descriptions of the ads that he kept getting, and then like the message of like, Casper D. Luckenbill, you are responsible for this. What are you going to do?
And how it completely, the fact that he didn't know anything about any of the people, any of the places, it completely ruined every aspect of his life. And then it did the opposite, actually. And I think in the end, he at least thinks that he was able to help in some way.
I like Brandy's. I wrote, blech, what is happening? I don't like it. Yeah, I hate it. Maybe I know where this is going. Wait, no, I don't. Okay, I don't get it, but I still don't like it. That actually, as confusing as that sounds, that is like how I felt reading the whole story. That one was not for me.
What did he actually do to stop the terrorism?
It does not say. It doesn't say, because at that point, at least I got the impression he hadn't tried to give them any money or pay them off in any way until we got to that point in the book. So I don't know how the media terrorism stopped for him.
I don't know either. He became the face of it.
Yeah.
And then got rich and famous off of that.
And I'd like to assume he's able to help others that are having the same issue.
Because there were others. I guess they came out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
Now that he became the face of this thing.
Yeah.
After he literally lost everything. Because
no one needs to know how my brain works.
But yeah, it was I do like it was I also read this right before bed.
Oh.
And I was like,
this was a bad one to read right before bed. I
I'm
did
not
that
going
too.
to sleep.
This one affected my dreams. I had really like weird dreams.
Yeah, I know you were punching me.
Sorry.
I blew through all of these in one go. It took me like around 5.5 hours, and I just read through all of it. And then afterwards had to go watch an episode of Ted Lasso to like
Smart.
get out of it. So
yeah, and like I guess we have to assume that these atrocities are they real?
Well, that's something that he was questioning as well. Like he honestly didn't know, and he like researched it too. And I don't know if it ever said.
I
But,
feel
like,
like it was really close to like pointing a finger at a lot of stuff with media, like social media, and how we surround ourselves with everything and becoming desensitized to a lot of the horrific things that are happening in the world and everything. But I don't know. Like I couldn't do this one.
In a way, like there was some kind of like with the way that he was kind of just like letting it roll off of him, and the way they were all kind of like desensitized to it, it almost created a bit of like a creepy comedy. Like when he goes home and he's like, well, we installed the whole like media wall thing. This was a really bad time to do that. And his girlfriend's just like, yeah, what's going on here, buddy? And they're making jokes about it to each other.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so weird that they're all like, they're seeing all these, what I can imagine are like,
gosh,
you know, pull your eyeballs out kind of things constantly on the wall. Everywhere this guy goes, like, is basically like the dark side of E-Bomb's world.
Ew, no, I don't like that person at all.
You remember E-Bomb's world?
Yes. Do you know how many years I constantly like could not stop myself from being, but I am late tired.
The good old days of the internet, right?
Hmm.
When everything is not good.
Okay. Next up, I Was a Teenage Werewolf by Dale Bailey. And what's interesting, and I didn't realize this until I was reading the author contributions at the end, but he's in here twice, this author. He wrote Teenagers from Outer Space that had Tham in it.
It was in the first half.
Yeah. So this is the one where some teenagers started dying.
My description of
probably
this one
with
is
werewolves. Yeah.
Teenage werewolves. They're all teenage werewolves.
That's correct.
Y'all, okay, I went into this one just reading the title, and I don't know why in my head, but in my head I was like, oh, this is going to be a comedy.
You were wrong.
Wasn't. Which is why I wrote barf. This is not what I was hoping it would be. And then I had an insert because while I was reading this one, and since it wasn't what I expected, the Amazon man came running up our front steps while I was reading and knocked on the door, and I screamed and about jumped out of my skin. And then I got back into the story and wrote barf again, corny, but barf. And then I finished. It was like still gross, but I guess kind of fun in a silly way. Whatever.
It was like weirdly empowering.
But also, like, they murdered all of their family and friends.
They murdered everybody.
At the end.
Yeah, and they ate them, which you know how I feel about that. Barf.
Well, they're werewolves. Werewolves.
But
okay,
but don't eat people.
Did anyone expect there to be more than one werewolf? And then did anyone expect the whole high school class to be werewolves?
I thought there would be like 2, maybe. I was like, oh, they'll both, maybe there's like a couple, maybe a few. Did not expect them to all.
I guess I expected it to be more of a murder mystery where you find out who did it at the end, where there's more like misdirection and like who's it going to be, and like we've introduced all these characters and it could be any one of them, and then it turned out to be all of them, and it really wasn't a murder mystery. It was more of like a teenage angst and like Rage Against the Machine kind of story, except Rage Against the Machine means kill everybody.
Yeah, I thought it was so interesting how like because the whole town knew that it was someone in the high school, it both terrified the high schoolers and completely empowered them.
Yeah, they were really into it.
I think it's important first, Leanne. I don't know if he heard me scream or not because I checked at the ring and he had already run away through the yard. But to Jeff Moore's point, this is the best American science fiction and fantasy from 2017. 2017?
They're all published in 2016, but then the collection is 2017 or something.
Well, according to this person.
And Charles Yu.
Yeah, so I feel like that's like if I was chosen, granted I have zero credentials, no offense to people, but if they were like, hey, what did you think was the best? Obviously, we are showing tonight all of our different opinions. Some of us loved these stories and some of us did not like them at all. Yeah. So, I mean, that's always going to happen. When you say something is the best, like unless you're, even when you poll everyone as we do every single month, you're never going to get the same answer.
Yeah. I want to go back to Lisa Travis's thing. You covered it up. I did wonder how they were all werewolves and nobody in their families know. I don't even think they knew they were all werewolves. I think that they were, one or two were slowly turning into werewolves. And then at the prom, they all for the first time mostly became werewolves. That's at least how I read it.
How does that happen? I thought you had to get bitten by a werewolf. And didn't they say something like, well, they try to...
That's a myth.
They try to debunk that myth.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, we don't know what the rules are for these werewolves.
Kent asking the hard questions. Okay, what is your job?
It says here, even as we assumed our true and long hidden forms, unknown even to ourselves, our queen claimed her first victim. So yeah, they didn't know.
Yeah, Arlene getting a good deal there.
Yeah.
Prom queen and queen werewolf.
Prom queen werewolf.
But yeah, what does that job ad look like? Hey, hiring all new staff. They got bludgeoned by werewolves.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and also the police staff they got to replace. Like all of these people
the mayor.
Like murdered their parents. Yeah, the mayor's gone.
Now it's instead of I was a teenage werewolf, it is I live in a werewolf town.
All teenager
werewolf town.
So now it's just a CW show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they're all.
Thank you. You're welcome.
But with more, face eating.
There's face eating in some CW shows.
Yeah.
I don't.
Pretty much every CW show has face eating. All the kissing looks like face eating.
Okay, that's fair. Anyways,
gross.
Let's move on to the
final story.
Which was okay. So this is The Venus Effect by Joseph Allen Hill. This is the one with Apollo, who kept trying to have different genres and different kinds of stories, and they as the hero, and they all ended in the same way, with the policeman killing him or her at that one story for seemingly no reason.
Oh, this one was rough.
This one was rough.
It was also long.
It was so long, and it was repetitive. So I think there's go ahead.
I think it was meant to be because it was something that I analyzed back and forth. Yes, Brandy, it was hard. And so this is all I wrote because I didn't want to put all my feelings down into words. I just said that I didn't feel like the story belonged in this book, but mostly because I think it's nonfiction. It felt like if you were given an assignment to be like, use sci-fi and fantasy in this essay to showcase a real problem. So I wrote painfully, powerfully, and unfortunately nonfiction.
Yes. And I was also wondering, it didn't really seem to fit, I mean, it had, it was fantasy. It was like stories told in sort of fantastical.
Well, each story had either a fantasy or a science fiction element.
Yeah.
But
so
it
like
was also
superheroes. It was like,
aliens.
and then he's dead.
Yeah.
From various means. Socially relevant. So like science fiction's been doing since science fiction started.
I was going to say science fiction.
Yeah.
It's kind of its thing. I feel like my favorite thing to do is when people, like, especially I love, because we just finished rewatching all of Star Wars, like all of everything. And I love how people are like, well, don't make it this, don't make it that. I'd be like, excuse me, Star Wars, the entire universe, everything about it is absolutely a political vehicle. That is what it is. And that's so much of what science fiction is. It's so often a political statement.
I mean, like, and this does it. I would say that as a political statement, this one, or a social statement, social political statement, this one it's very on the nose. Whereas other science fiction tries to shroud it and maybe like hide it and like convince you maybe you're not watching something until you think about it deeper. This one's very on the nose. It made me really sad. And it made me really sad because I also read his notes after the book.
This is all his notes that I thought were relevant.
And we have to remember, like, this was written in 2016.
2016.
This is before 2020. And some of the scenarios he described in this were
straight out of 2020.
Yeah, basically, exactly. And it made me really sad. So yeah, this one, we ended on a very heavy slap in the face by like real life and real life problems that in the same book that has a choose your own adventure with poo poo doo doo Uranus. Then we get this book. Then we get this one.
It was a doo doo from Uranus.
I think a lot of people agree that this was powerful and heavy and also felt out of place. I think that's just a great way to.
And Kiri makes a comment about sci-fi not being diverse in the past. Yeah. Think about like the day the Earth stood still, which is basically like the aliens coming to Earth to be like, hey, you guys need to get your shit together or we're going to destroy you. There's Lucas.
Yep.
But yeah, so rounding it out, you get this really long sort of like reality check in the guise of these sort of science fiction fantasy stories. And it was interesting to read his comments at the end. I don't know how many of y'all knew this, but if you go to the back of the book,
there's like a little paragraph saying who the author is and what they've written, and then there's a paragraph,
a statement,
where the author of each story says like what inspired them. And some of them were such good reads, and I highly recommend his specifically. I thought his was just so powerful.
Yeah. So go read those. It helped me, especially with some of those stories that I was a little bit more confused about or like weirded out by it. Then it was helpful to see at least where they wanted you to think they were coming from. But yeah, this is like the worst episode of the Twilight Zone ever, where like it's Groundhog Day or whatever, and it just keeps ending badly.
Yeah.
So there it is. And with 10 minutes to spare.
Oh, well, we got some questions that aren't story specific, actually, from our discussion topics post.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Jennifer Williams Colton said, I felt like Welcome to the Medical Clinic, so the Choose Your Own Adventure and the Venus Effect, which were the last one, were working on the same short story assignment. All paths were preordained and led to the same conclusion, but they each did it in their own creative way.
Writing prompts.
Not a question, but really, really awesome connection that I did not see, because they are just the polar opposite of stories in this collection.
But ironically, both, as different as they are, being used to point at a very real thing.
Yeah. Some systemic
so
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Katie Daw said, since best is so subjective, what author or editor would you trust to put together an anthology you'd like to read?
Ooh. What author or editor? I don't know any editors.
I mean, I would love like just some of the big names like Stephen King. If Stephen King put out one, Steven Spielberg, that would be great, honestly.
Steven.
Or do we just go in there with the Stevens?
Yeah.
My brother could probably, I have a brother that's Steven that could probably come up with an okay collection.
Yeah, like, Marianne, that's what I said. I would let Christy choose. But also V.E. Schwab.
Oh gosh, yeah, V.E. Schwab's. Can you imagine how like creative, unique, and diverse V.E. Schwab's picks would be? It would be amazing. Neil Gaiman, I could see doing an awesome job. I've been really into Brandon Sanderson lately. I'd love to see what his picks are. Oh yeah, Tammy, we're on the same page here.
No, we're not even going to mention John Scalzi. Huh?
Honestly, like N.K. Jemisin, can you imagine what her picks would be? I'm thinking about authors that I feel like have such a unique viewpoint that like if they pick out a collection, you're going to get some stuff you've never even thought about before.
Yeah. So
I would read
if you're watching
from Matt Haig.
Oh yeah, he'd be good.
I feel like he'd make an amazing feel-good anthology.
The guys who wrote The Expanse.
Yeah.
Gotta get a good like sci-fi in there.
Mm-hmm.
The guys who do The Expanse, they're like the George R.R. Martin of science fiction.
They like apprenticed or whatever with
I know.
George R.R. Martin.
They're the same person. Everybody's picking you, Christy.
Okay, guys, I'll put something together.
Do it. Don't mess up.
I mean, technically,
it's called every month.
I was about to say this book club, this entire book club is Christy giving us our
Lucas wants naked Hugh Howey to do it.
We got one more from Katie. She asked, "What anthologies would you recommend?" She would recommend George R.R. Martin's Wild Cards and anything by Esther Friesner, which is Which Way to the Mall and Chicks and Chainmail are particular favorites. Carrie Fleming answered and said, "Not sure if these are truly an anthology since they're single author collections, but Magic for Beginners by Kelly Link and any of Neil Gaiman's short story collections." And then Kira piped up and said Ray Bradbury short story collections for sure.
Yeah. They were in the beginning of this book, the guy taught in his introduction, not the first one, but the other one.
He was talking about all the places or all the anthologies that he reads regularly.
Yeah,
right?
there's even like a video game one called like Press Start to Play or something like that. It's like video game themed short stories, which I kind of want to read and put into one of our next ones.
Well, and I loved this, and we'll talk about that later. But I would love for this to be a yearly thing, doing an anthology, and we'll make it way more creative next time. But like, yeah, maybe having like the Press Start to Play anthology or some anthologies like that would be awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed reading short stories.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't really have any. So this was...
You have Lee Bardugo's collection of short stories, I think, don't you?
But I haven't read it.
It's really good.
But like, so I really don't have that many to choose from. And so this was fun. I would definitely do it again.
Yeah, let's do it again.
Okay.
But now we've got some other stuff to talk about now that we've got like 5 minutes left. In February...
We're doing things a little
bit different.
Yeah, we are. Let's change it up.
February 8th.
Sorry, I just rocked the...
You did. You rocked my world.
I rocked it. I rocked everybody's world.
So on February 8th, we are having a live stream, but it will not be a book discussion. This is just going to be like a club meeting. We're all going to get together. We're going to talk about the future.
We're a book club.
So we're going to have one actual book discussion. That will be the end of the month on February 20th. And
22nd.
22nd.
It's Tuesday Tuesday. How could you forget
birthday.
that?
Got it. But on February 8th, we'll have just like a club hangout where we're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to go over some ideas that we have, talk about what we're thinking for the future, because we want to kind of mix it up. We want to do things different. Give things to people perhaps that maybe don't involve you needing to read a book every time.
Although we are still going to be reading a book a month.
We're still going to be reading a book. Is this the talk? Yes. When two people really like each other.
No, we got a book for that.
Yeah. But no, so yeah, but we want to, please tune into this one, especially because this is like where we want to get your input. If you don't watch and you're not there, then we don't know what you want. So we want to know what you want.
Yeah.
So come prepared to tell us what you want.
Yeah.
What do you want?
And we're trying this whole one live discussion for a book for February, and we want to know y'all's honest opinion. So if you love it, we want to know. And if you hate it, we want to know. Like, we want to know. This is y'all's book club. We want to make sure everybody is.
Yeah. If you want to have 4 book discussions a month, or 1 a day, or like 2 a day, three on the weekends.
Every day.
Yes. So
or just we never stop. Like we're just live constantly. It's the Truman Show.
Adam's life is now live stream TV.
Literally ways to the Truman Show. Y'all will see so many things you never knew possible. Yeah, get the Spice Girls in there.
Thank you, Henry.
Judy,
so yeah,
so nice.
We'll talk about stuff. And I don't know if you know this, we're having a baby. So that will happen, and we'll see how that affects things. We'll roll with the punches, but we still want to do literally ways.
But that's like not until the anime, so this is not even like right now. It's fine.
So but yeah, we're having a baby. Hey!
What?
And don't worry.
Now you get to learn how to read while listening to loud things.
Oh no, I'll have the noise.
That's your baby. Your baby's the loud thing while you read.
It's okay. We have 2 dogs.
Yeah.
We're good.
But so make sure you tune in on February 8th and come hang out with us as we're going into our 4th year.
Yeah, look at
literally the sun is rising over on Talia's screen. February's book is the book Christy has been trying to get everybody to read all the time.
I've gifted this book to like everyone I know.
She really has.
I really have.
Until they just change colors.
She has.
The sun is setting, and now it's not.
She has evangelized for this book, and I see that everybody else who has read this book says nothing but good things about it. Like it's a big warm hug.
I love warm hugs.
So this is exciting. That will be the discussion on February 22nd.
Yes.
Just one book discussion. We'll talk about the whole thing.
Which is great, because it means you just read it whenever you want, and as long as you have read it before the 22nd.
You don't have to like wait a week in between. That's what I
know.
do.
I plan on reading,
and then I wait 1 week and then start reading again.
Yeah, I'm going to read the entire thing on the 18th and 19th.
Well, hopefully this one won't bore you.
Warm hugs bore me. Put that on a t-shirt. Stacy, you got the t-shirt quote of the day. Warm hugs bore me.
Do we have anything else?
Okay.
The House in the Cerulean Sea coming up next. February 8th. Hangout. We're having a baby. We have 2 dogs.
We mentioned that.
Christmas tree's still up.
We did mention that.
I think that's everything. Wow. We were really efficient with our time this evening.
I know. What are we going to do for this last minute?
Were we too efficient?
Thank you, Christy, for keeping us on track.
Should we just sit here for a minute?
Yeah.
Anybody have a question? Come on. Someone do it.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Well, that was weird.
I expected us to run like late, so that's why I was like trying.
Christy,
to
have you ever thought about being an assistant director? You're really good at keeping things on schedule. But now I'm going to just ramble so that we go 3 minutes over, and then, I win again. So anyway, Lucas.
I'm like, what?
Leanne wants to know if we're going to find out the gender of the baby.
We already know. It's a boy.
And his name is not
Jean-Luc. His name is Jean-Luc.
It's not.
His name is Jean-Luc.
Although I will say he has been called Jean-Luc more than anything else.
Jean-Luc.
Nope.
Yes.
Are we doing a vote on baby names? No.
Luke.
Probably not.
Luke.
We'll let you know.
Talio.
Luke Talia?
Luke Talio.
His name will be Talio.
Sounds like a Pokemon.
Talio.
Luke Talio.
It does actually.
Yeah. I choose you. Yay.
So yeah, that'll be coming up in May.
Yes, in May 31st.
Yeah, so guess what we're reading in May?
Bump reveal.
A baby book. Or something that's easy to wipe off.
Yes, Tiberius. Jean-Luc Tiberius. High
I'm
five.
so sorry, Christy. I'm so sorry.
This is why we do it, so we can imprint ourselves on this little one.
They really want a baby name poll.
All right, I'll do the poll like I did the old man.
I was about to say
poll.
like old man's war. Yeah, where's all the good luck. Your options are just maybe some slightly different
Yeah,
capitalization.
you get Jean-Luc, Gozer, and Vigo. Christy, don't sigh too hard; you might hurt the baby.
He'll be fine. He's already used to it.
Cyclops.
Look, I'm surprised you didn't say anything.
No, I didn't have to. There he is. Number 1.
He's no. Well, I don't know.
He's number
Ghost.
1. Ender, that's a good name.
Ender. All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for reading all these fun short stories, some not so fun.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing you on February 8th, where we're going to have a hangout. Talk about the club. All right.
This is the club dance.
Yeah. This is the best you can do when you're in a chair with Posturepedic cushions.
That's a real party.
Yep. It doesn't hurt either.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
We're getting older.
Yeah, it hurts. Everything hurts.